The show's for people that like the outdoors. That's the bottom line. Primarily those that ski. I'd like to welcome you to I Ski with Frankie Z. This is the place to be. And I'm so excited about the show. Just before the show today,
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
will not last forever. These are the days to hold on to. I'd like to welcome everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. It's huge on information. It's big on excitement. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about the kings and queens of Corbett in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And you're saying, what is that? We had a show about this in one of our earlier podcasts about these people that jump into the couloir, they dive into the couloir, it's crazy. This is the craziest thing. We just have been covering MIKELA Sheffrin and her great success on the slopes, and we'd love to actually give a nice little hand of applause to her fantastic effort that she had at Cortina, Italy, bringing home all the medals, winning the top honors for the women's all-time medalist. She's now the all-time medalist for skiers from America. She's just like this. And she skis the slalom, the giant slalom, the super G. These athletes I'm talking about up in Jackson Hole, they ski a different kind of skiing. This skiing is insanely crazy as the super G is. You're just not going 80 miles an hour. These guys are falling off of a vertical that's just almost straight up and down. It's just insane. And they do flips, jumps, and all kinds of moves jumping into the couloir. And they have a competition each year. And first place is $10,000, second place is $5,000, and third place is $3,000 for the respective winners in both the men's and the women's divisions. And they have skiers and snowboarders both. And this is like the greatest day for GoPro and Red Bull. It's just like the craziest, most extreme thing that you'll ever witness outside of an Olympic-style sport. And it's so exciting. It's so exciting. So I was listening to a song, and I thought I would just play just a tad bit of this for you, because I want for us to go into this thinking like, why would somebody jump into this ski run in Jackson Hole, Wyoming? What would possess somebody to be this insane? And the question gets answered when you ask yourself some questions like, if you have the ability to do something and you can do it, then why don't you do it? And if you're not sure if you can, why don't you push yourself? So skiing's like life in a lot of ways. And there's some things that you're hesitant about doing and you don't know if you should, and then you don't. And then your whole life you're thinking, why would I not do that? Why didn't I just go do it? It would have cost me 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, whatever to go do. And 5 months, 5 years. Sometimes your plans are huge. They're big. Go live in another place and go study. If you're an astrophysicist, you camp out for 3 years on the top of a mountain. That's pretty extreme. You got to really prepare for that kind of endeavor if you're going after that kind of endeavor. So what I talk about is just about going skiing and just jumping up on the hill. And I just think that it relates so much to life. So it's a Billy Joel song, and I'm just going to get the part of it that really matters here. It says, "This is the time to remember, because it will not last forever. These are the days to hold on to. because we won't, although we'll want to. This is the time, but time is going to change. You've given me the best of you, and now I need the rest of you. So some people will apply that to a lover. I apply it to myself. Having that conversation with myself and looking at a ski run and thinking, do I want to take this on, or do I want to do this? Or maybe you have never skied and you're thinking, should I do this? Or you're not even thinking about skiing, you're just talking about life. And there's somebody you've wanted to meet, talk to, there's a place you've wanted to go and visit, there's a letter you've wanted to write, a book you've wanted to write, a movie you've wanted to make. I don't know what grand adventures lie out there for you, but I am here to help you dig that up within yourself and move it forward. And so I talk about skiing. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I sit here and I'll watch skiing and I'll get so excited and so juiced up. I want to go run out and go skiing right then. And I know some people feel that same way about playing pool, gymnastics, chess, reading books. God love you. Hallelujah. I love people with a passion. I love people that, like MMA fighters, are so intense. Baseball pitchers, intense. Oh, I love that. I love people that play at high intense levels. People that do extreme sports are just so unique. They're so fantastic. And you're out there rambling around. Oh. But after that, you push yourself a little bit. And now your brain's got to kick in and you got to do things smarter. So as you get older and older, you have to start skiing smarter and smarter. And life's the same way. As you tread waters and you have more to risk, either through whatever it is that you have to risk, you become a little more careful. But I've never been a big person to ski moguls and tree shit, because I thought always, like, if I ran into a tree, the whole idea is to avoid them. So thank you for cutting them down and giving us a nice run here. And there's some of those runs up that are naturally wide that they're able to get in at the Arizona Snow Bowl I'm referring to specifically. And they can get them in the shade, and you're able to get some nice little snow that you're cutting through, and it's just wind blowing through your hair. Oh, you're just cutting through that snow, and it's just you and the snow. It's really interesting, and you go wherever you want to go. Stop if you want to stop. Go forward if you want to go forward. Fast, slow. It's up to you. If you want to go into the trees and you want to create chaos in your life, avoiding these obstacles and all this, go right ahead. I don't see wasting the energy to do that when there's such beautiful snow to be able to cut across like it's butter. When you ski and you feel the skis cutting through that snow just below the surface, like a knife cutting through butter. Oh, it's so fantastic. Talk about this Billy Joel song, because that's the song, by the way, is Billy Joel, These Are the Times to Remember, because they will not last forever. These are the days to hold on to, because we won't, although we'll want to. This is the time, but the time is going to change. You've given me the best of you, and now I need the rest of you. Talking to myself. Maybe you apply it to yourself as well. I don't know. Tell me what you're thinking. Do me a favor. We get value from this channel when you subscribe and hit the bell on the right. Hitting the bell is the most important thing. You can like the podcast, we'd appreciate that too. Maybe leave us a comment. If you're not sure what to say, just put subscribe and I'll answer back to you. But coming up in our show here, we've got the Kings and Queens of Corbett, and then we've got a little bit of an update on Benji, the snowboarder that got his pass pulled. What's happened? Did he get his pass back? Have I talked to him? We've had a couple of messages that have gone back and forth. So we're talking about going on the hill. I want to film him if he's gotten his pass back. If he hasn't, I want to interview him. We'll find out what's going on with Benji. I'll give you a quick update on that. And then we have a music list that is just, it's insane. It's insane. I can't wait to talk to you about it. So we're going to talk to you about that music list. We're going to talk to you about, I don't know if he's crazy. He might be sane and just maybe the EMT is actually loco. One of the loco snowboarders. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't even snowboarding. We got to get the facts on this. What's cooking with old Benji and the snowboard story and the pat shit. What else is up with that? I don't even know. But we'll get to the bottom of some of it. Anyway, the story will keep moving on. As will we. Kings and Queens of Corbett. Now, I was looking at the runs. If you look at Jackson Hole, Wyoming, there's a lift that starts at about 6,400 feet above elevation, and it goes up to about 11,000 feet, 10,000 feet in elevation. Let's see, what did it say? It actually says that it goes to 10,450 feet in elevation. 10,500 feet. So you're climbing over 4,000 feet. Those are some long runs. Now, good friend of mine that I've skied the beautiful bowls of Vail with Mike ALVALR, the madman on two planks. My boy used to work up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Isn't that crazy? So I had a conversation with him and I was like, hey, Mikey, talk to me about Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And he said, steep. That whole thing is steep. Everywhere you go is like you're looking vertical, down, straight down, everything. He says, there's like shit labeled as blues. He goes, those are like our blacks. They're crazy, man. And I was like, wow. And he's just like, it's the coolest thing ever. Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So we talk about what is this Kings and Queens of Corbett. Well, I bet that is just something else. So I'm going to be tuning into that. Check that out. See what you think about it. I don't know what else to tell you other than it's going to be one of the most exciting things you'll see on snow. That's the bottom line with that. You know, I had a couple of stats about Jackson Hole that I ran across that I thought I would share with you. And yeah, it says the base of it is 6,311 feet. And it says the summit is 10,450 feet. It says it can carry 17,833 skiers per hour. And as far as the runs, it says there's 133 named trails on their map. 50% difficult, 40% expert, intermediate, and 10%, okay, difficulty, 50% expert, 40% intermediate, and 10% beginner. 10% beginner, that's the best. Lifts, one 100-passenger aerial tram. Whoa, that's that crazy tram you seen going to the top of it. It lands and stops at the Corbett, the Couloir. And right below that cabin is where you dump into this. And it's what a couloir is actually, it's like a ravine in between mountains. It's where two mountain crevices come together, and what would be a valley, rock formations coming together that are very sheer. That's a couloir. So anyway, it has two 8-passenger gondolas, 4 high-speed quad chairs, 5 fixed grip quad chairs, 1 double chair, 2 covered surface carpet lifts. That's where they teach you how to ski on the magic carpet ride. I love those. And if you're new, by the way, that's where you go learn. Don't go jumping up on trying to ski some of these other runs if you haven't skied before. I hope that if you know somebody that's learning how to ski or something, tell them, hey, listen to Frank Diddy, give you the 1, 2, 3 on what's going on. Aerial tram, you know, they have snowmen, got everything. They get like 400 inches of snow every year. It says, oh, buy tickets now. All right, let's see what the tickets cost to roll up at the Jackson Hole. And mind you, the skiing is just probably scary fun. Okay, $168 a day. You got to shell out 168 clams to go up and ride. And it looks like they board at about 8:30 in the morning in Jackson Hole and drop you on that hill so you can be tearing it up before 9 a.m. So that's something to think about. Spending the day up there and just tearing it up all day. So that's the skinny. We're gonna have to see what's cooking. Get over yourselves on that one. And then quick little update on Benji. So Benji says, why don't you come on up and meet us? And I'm gonna get my ski pass back, or I'm gonna pay for it, or whatever. And I said, okay. So I couldn't make it the day he invited me up. But the day he invited me up, these guys parked in this spot that's kind of underneath one of these lifts, and they're hollering at girls, and they're cooking up hamburgers, and they're just having the time of their lives. They're making runs, they're coming back and eating and hanging out. And I told them, all right, next week, which is this week coming up, we're going to meet on the hill. We're going to shred. I'm going to do some filming. So we're going to have a little footage of Benji, more than likely coming up this next week. But we're going to find out how he got his ski pass back. Did he go to ski prison and have to do his penance and ask Father, whoever's running, go back to skiing? And we'll find out what's up with that. Oh, Benji, the madman, running into the EMT. That is just, oh my God, that sucks so bad. Like, that's, so we're going to find out what's happening with him. Benji's becoming famous. I had a couple people ask me, like, hey, what's happening with old Benji? You said something about some cat that got his ticket taken. I was like, yeah, I'll find out. I'll let you know. So we're going to find out this week what's happening with him. And then the second thing is the music list. This music list is sick. I just got to say that what we've got cooking here, before I move on to the music list, I need you to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, because that's what registers, that's what matters. And it helps produce better content for the show. And if you're getting any value from this, please just subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and if you're not sure what to say, just say subscribe. Just type in subscribe and I'll answer back to you what you're doing and where you're at. So back to the music list here. So I was looking at this music list and I wanted something to have to do with dropping in and what was going on up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming with this great Red Bull ski competition, the Kings and Queens of Corbett. And we came up with a pretty good list here. The first one on the list was a surprise entry by some, and others, without question, thought it was a perfect fit. It was the Gap Band. You dropped a bomb on me. If you don't know what that song's about, let me give you the skin dinny, okay? Because Leon Simmons and Ruby Taylor and Charlie Wilson, who were the supporting songwriters and nucleus of the group. Charlie was the lead singer, and his brother Ronnie and Robert, who died in 2010, by the way, at the age of 53. And they were the other core members. But Simmons was their producer, and Taylor was their sound mixer and also contributed to the songwriting. You Dropped a Bomb on Me has a long-standing success as a soundtrack favorite. It's also been featured in films like Next Friday, Brooklyn Rules, and some TV programs. Also won a Grammy in 1984 for some broadcast commercials, such as the one for the network Animal Planet. It's been in video games like Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, but to say nothing of its use in sporting events. In American football, game-winning touchdown passes have all been called a long bomb, so that it makes sense that You Dropped a Bomb on Me would make an appropriate celebration for music. Teams known as using the song at home games included the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Florida Gators, New York Mets. What I found out is that this feel-good dance song was actually a quiet-hearted rendering. The girl meant everything to the singer. You were my pills, you were my thrills, you were my hope, and you were my smoke. But then she turned me wrong, so the bomb is not a good thing. It's more likely the breakup that came out of nowhere and devastated the poor guy. So, You Dropped a Bomb on Me is just what it sounds like. You get your heart crushed out of nowhere. So that's number 5. But when you look at what's going on up in Jackson Hole and these dudes drop in, it's crazy. So that's number 5. Number 4 is Huey, Pop, Lock, and Drop. Well, that's what happens with your ski boots. You pop them in, you lock them in, and then you drop down the hill. Now I know that the rapper who was Huey actually meant pulling out his gun and using it. It was actually both a song and a dance. I don't know if you remember that, but anyway, yeah, it debuted. It was actually the firing of a handgun. Huey, the St. Louis rapper behind the hit song Pop, Lock, and Drop It, was shot and killed in Missouri. The St. Louis County Police Department said Huey, whose name was given Lawrence Franks Jr., was a victim of a double shooting. This is in 2006 of June. On the 26th is when this report happened. So he's been gone for a while now, but he had this song Pop, Lock, and Drop It, and I always thought about that when I was skiing. So that comes in at number 4. Number 3 is Kanye West, All Fall Down. Now this was a kind of an interesting one because this explanation here off of the internet says Kanye used inequity as the hook for the song. And it's this Lauryn Hill's song, so you can kind of hear it in the background being dubbed. But anyway, so he had several female artists that also contributed to the song. He pulls in at number 3 with All Falls Down. Number 2. What an exciting number 2. Moving into the rock genre. The rock genre is Train, Drops of Jupiter. This one's a little darker. On an interview with VH1, lead singer Pat Moynihan revealed that he wrote this song about the death of his mother. And he kind of goes into, his mother died in 1999, and then they were recording the album that this ended up being on. And the loss of this was pretty important to how the forming of that album was, to how that song came out. and it was always on his mind when he was making that song come together. I always thought that was kind of was interesting. So he said why there are drops of Jupiter in her hair is that Moynihan told BuzzFeed that it was part of her vision. My mother said she was able to swim through the planets and turn them into whatever she wanted. They didn't have to be what we know them to be. She said actually she had drops of Jupiter in her hair when she was talking to me. Put your kid's mind on a voyage with that kind of boy, that's for sure. So that's number 2, drops of Jupiter. Now you have to be thinking, what is number 1? What a crazy, bizarre, wild grouping of songs. What could possibly top it off? And we go back to a classic rock group that everybody loves and has loved for decades. And the band is Aerosmith. And the song is Kings and Queens, in remembrance of the Kings and Queens of Corbett and the competition. These great athletes are making tremendous leaps and bounds and jumping into this abyss, and it's so exciting to see. You got to check it out. You got to tune it in. But let me tell you about this song, because this is kind of interesting. The song is about a time when lords and maidens were imagined to have like this, if you were to think of them in this past life. And the line kings and queens and guillotines is the lot of the brutality and the imagery that they were trying to produce. They were a young rock band and they were trying to seem edgy. And so they weren't looking for this glam look, but they wanted something kind of focused that said, hey, we're a little bit raw. And so they came up with a song. And, when you go through the words of Kings and Queens by Aerosmith, it is that way. It was released in 1977 on the album Draw the Line, and it was like this black and white version of them, kind of cartoonish. It was pretty cool. But anyway, so that's what we came up with on our list. Again, if you can help us by subscribing, hitting the bell, liking the video, liking the podcast. And if you want to leave us a comment, we'd love to know what you have to say. Oh my God. Make sure that we got coming up haunted hotels on Road 66. We have what's going to happen with Benji and the missing ski pass. And we're also going to do spring break on the hill. Where do we go ski for spring break? All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. It was great to have you on this show. Look forward to seeing you again. And we'll stay cool, my peace people. I think we're out, by the way. All right? Take care. Man, what a crazy show. What a great lineup of music. Oh, kings and queens and guillotines.